Hi, the life and times of Frank Miranda. I'm Frank Miranda. I infiltrated the mafia in New York for 6 years. These are my stories. This is episode 16. I quit. So I only became a cop because I needed health insurance. My first wife was pregnant. I was driving a cab in New York. My father said, "Look, Frankie, you're a college guy. You're driving a taxi. Your wife is pregnant. She's going to have a baby. You have no health insurance. Why don't you take the police exam and become a cop?" Me, a cop? All my friends were like half-ass wise guys. You know, I hung on the street. Anyway, so I'm thinking, you know what? Jeez, it's going to be a fortune to have a baby, no hospital insurance. So I took the police exam. Yeah, I freaking passed it. I scored pretty good on the examination. Anyway, you go to the police academy. I think it was 16 weeks. They give you all this training and penal law, procedure law. I'm half listening, because my heart really wasn't in. I didn't want to carry a gun. Carrying a gun, that's letting a baby into a candy store and saying, "Go ahead, help yourself." Anyway, so I graduate from the police academy. My first tour of duty was a midnight day tour, right? Now, my first freaking tour. They put me in the projects on a walking post. Um, and it was about 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. I see this car on Lexington Avenue pulls up. I didn't see who was in it, but is that out of character? It's sort of like they got stores there, business stores, blah blah blah. And so I walk over to the car. I knock on the driver's side window because I'm standing in the street. And guys roll down the window. "Yes, officer." I said, "What are you doing here?" "Well, we just came from a party." I said, "Let me see your driver's license and registration." So the guy takes out his license and he's looking for the registration. And I made a key mistake. I walked in front of the car to get onto the sidewalk to check his paperwork. I hear the engine gun. The guy floors the car and hits me square on. I was lucky. I sort of like maneuvered my way, but the car hit me in my legs and sent me flying on top of the hood and then into the street. And they take off. I call a 1013. That's an officer in distress. They stop the car up the street, and they take me to the hospital. I come to find out that these guys are up to no good. There was warrants. That was my first tour out of the academy. Now, I'm all right. I mean, they didn't break my leg. It was bruised. And the cops, as long as you breathe, all right, I was all right for the next tour. So the next tour, they figured, the guy has a bad leg. So they put me with the count in a squad car. I'm his partner, the Count, Jerry. They call him the Count because he killed the bat with a tennis racket at one of the calls. Anyway, the Count, we get a call. There's I don't know if it was a shooting or stabbing in his sector. So we respond, pull up. Now the Count is a smart guy. I'm out of the academy. He says, "Frankie, I'll tell you what, you take point." Again, this is 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. All right, Jerry, I'll take point. It was a tenement house around up the street from the projects. So open the first floor. We check out the first floor, secure it. Second floor, nothing. Now the third floor. Hmm. The door is open. The front door is open. The count. I, I'm not kidding you. He nudges me with the pistol end of the gun. He says, "Check it out." Yeah, I open the door. You walk into the living room. Nothing. And we're going further, and then I see a crack in one of the doors. I guess it was one of the bedrooms doors. I open the door, and there's this guy. Now, this is not for the faint of heart. So, if you guys have faint of heart, turn off the rest of this episode. There's a guy laying on a bed, half dead. His guts were laying like on the floor. I'm talking his intestines, half his stomach. Oof, mink. This is up. Anyway, the count says, "All right, Frankie, the guy's still alive. Put his guts back in his stomach area, abdomen. We don't have time for an ambulance. It was raining that night. He said, take your raincoat off." We put him on the raincoat, and we take him down to the squad car. All right. So we carried this dude down to the three floors down to the squad car. I opened the door of the squad car. The count says, "Frankie, just you put your raincoat." Now, my raincoat is full of blood. Sue. This count is a smart guy. It ain't his raincoat. It's freaking my raincoat. So we take him to the emergency room. Oh, lights and sirens. Hey, this is pretty cool. As long as it ain't me in the back seat. So we get him into the emergency room. You know, the ER people, you know, I have a hard time articulating, but that's me. Anyway, they put him on a gurney and then into a room, and I'm watching the doctors. I don't know, they were stuffing gauze into his stomach area, abdominal area, and they're shaking their head. I mean, the guy flatlined. Ooh. That was my first death on the job, right? So, you know, I'm going home. I got to process all this shit. How do you process that? You know, I opened a bottle of Dewar's White Label. I poured myself a couple of shots. I guess I got home. It was about 9 o'clock in the morning. My wife at the time, how'd it go? You don't want to know. I drank half a bottle of scotch and went to sleep because I had to get up for the 12s. Now they put me back in the projects. I don't know. I don't think the squad commander like Italians because I'm in the projects and I've got a foot post. Again, you got to make calls. Anyway, I'm making one of my calls, and there's a group of guys on the other side of Lex. You know, I got to move around because you got a sector sergeant there that's always checking up on you. You know, they'll write you up in a heartbeat. So as I'm crossing Lexington Avenue, the group of guys, they cross and they're crossing in the crosswalk. So as this big dude and me, we come like shoulder to shoulder, he spits in my face. He spit in my face and kept walking and he's laughing with his buddies, you know. Well, listen, at the time, I was a pacifist. I didn't want to bother anybody. All I wanted to do was the health insurance. So what happened was I said, you know what? I mean, that sort of like insensitized me, if that's a word. I was pissed. I walked back to the guy. I said, yo, you got a problem? You spit in my face? And he says, yes, officer. What are you going to do about it? One of my equipments that they gave me was a blackjack. I just reacted, man. I hit this guy so hard between the fucking eyes, I turned him into a frog. Woo! The eyes have blurted out of his head. Boom, he goes down, the hospital. The next day I see him. I mean, I didn't recognize him. You ever see the movie The Mummy with Boris Karloff? Mm-hmm. He had bandages. The only thing I could see was his eyes. I figured that was him. And I'm standing on the corner, watching watching all the shit. All I know is I want to go home. But he comes over to me, officer. He says, "I'm sorry." He grabs my hand. No shit. He kisses my hand. And he said, "Listen, anything you need on the street, you come and talk to me." Wow. What an eye-opener. What did I learn? Well, a few things. One, they don't respect kindness. The only thing they respect is brute force, violence. Hey, I got no problem with that. I said, "Listen, I understand. If I need something, bro, I will be back to you. But I don't want any more fucking problems from you and your crew." Not a problem, officer. No, no. You own the street. You know what? That's another thing. My badge, my uniform, brothers in blue. We own the street. I don't know what it is in New York now. If I was working in New York City, they freaking locked me up, put me in jail. Because my policing and their policing today are a little bit different. So, all right, that's another hurdle that I overcame. Go home, blah, blah, blah. The next night, we get another call, but I'm riding with the count again. It's a call of some kind of a aided case. Somebody needs assistance. We go into the apartment. Whew! Zorienta girl. She's in the shower. The mother's screaming. She's in there. She's in there. She's hanging by her neck. Her eyes are popping out of her head. Oh, I can't take it. I mean, am I a fucking mortician? Did I take this job to be involved with all the death and violence? Hey, I was like a fucking hippie. Wow. So after my tour, I go into the precinct. I take my gun belt off. I'll never forget, Lieutenant Murphy was on the desk. I say, "Lieutenant Murphy, I fucking quit." I throw my gun belt on the desk, and I'm going out of the main room through a double doors that lead down to the locker rooms. Murphy is running right behind me. And he grabs me. We're in the corridor. I'm almost about going down to the locker room. He goes, "Frankie, you can't quit. You can't quit. You got to give this a chance." I said, "Luke, I feel like a freaking mortician. This one's dead. This is hanging. I mean, come on. I get hit by a car. Oh, please." I said, I don't know if this work is cut out for me." He said, "Listen, Frank, just give it a chance. Please, give it a chance and see what happens." I gave it a chance. It was the best decision of my life. I was born to be a cop. You know what? I'll die a fucking cop. I don't care if I'm sworn or unsworn. Somebody needs help, they got it from me. Anyway, that's the end of the episode 16. I hope it didn't scare anybody. And on to the next episode. See you soon.